We are together now, you and I. Chapter 4. X1. The X-Men. Year 10. Krakoa.
Okay, so what am I looking at here?
A nightmare. A waking one. And the beginning of the end, unless I'm mistaken. These are plans for a mother mold. A master mold that makes other master molds in orbit around the sun.
Plans. Referring to something that's scheduled to be built? Or for something that already exists?
As far as we can tell, construction has been completed. It's just been in a dormant phase, waiting for the right catalyst.
Let me guess. A mutant whose reach exceeded his grasp.
They call themselves Orcus, a collection of human scientists who are normally ideologically opposed to one another, but in mutantdom see a threat so great that they are bound together in order to stop us.
According to the information Mystique stole, we've discovered it's mostly X-Shield and AIM agents with some remnant sword and hammer operators sprinkled in.
And if you're wondering about their level of conviction, they've also held their noses long enough to Operation Paperclip in a few X-Hydra as well.
So what's the plan?
It's quite simple, really. We cannot let the mother mold come online.
Sure, because weather's always a sketchy proposition. You never know when it's gonna start raining sentinels.
There is that. But we have dealt with that before. Our urgency comes from projecting where their stratagem leads.
We think the scale and resources imply a paradigm shift in the technology.
Next generation sentinels? I don't get it. They're already built for adaptation and improvisation. What could...
We think this is where Nimrod becomes operational.
Oh, damn.
Listen to me, Scott. They have to be stopped.
Remember, this will be a frontal assault on an orbital station tens of millions of miles away, built by a secret organization whose sole purpose is the extinction of mutants. Can such a thing even be done?
Does it need doing?
Yes.
Then it will be done.
X2. The X-Men. Year 100. Asteroid K.
Well, boss, Cardinal and Rasputin say they succeeded, which I suppose is good news. But the bad news is Silabel and Percival aren't making it home, and without Percival's blackout abilities, I'm not exactly sure if the information still benefits us. I don't see how we can make it back into the city.
You'll have to forgive him. War has a way of limiting perspective. It's a shortcoming of that seed, but the benefits... Well, what do we have that is not a product of its spoils? Do you really have it?
Yes.
Reduced down to their essence, the machines are composed of pure information, a repository of knowledge, which is such a precarious thing in the hands of the living. Too much knowledge and the weak are paralyzed by choice. Too little and the foolish jump boldly into the gaping maw of a hungry enemy. But just enough, a little fire from the gods, and it is the great sword of victory and worth everything to have. Give me your eyes, children. For this I would have sacrificed all of you. It means that much.
The Tower of Nimrod the Lesser. The human-machine monolith.
They stole an indexing machine. This is disturbing. I will not lie. And I tell you that because, contrary to what your kind has been led to believe, I am not programmed for truth. I could lie all day if I wanted to, just for the pleasure of it. But here I am, denying myself the joy of a half-truth, the bliss of fiction, and the pure delight of falsehood. And why? I'll tell you.
No, really. I'd rather you just keep talking to yourself. I apologize. It's been a costly day, and I'm tired.
And you, my other human friend, are you weary as well?
Of course not, Nimrod.
I don't believe you. Now, where were we? Ah, yes. Truth. Oh, please, great Nimrod, give us our truth, so that we may know the difference between darkness and light. Well, since you asked so nicely, here it is. See, their very existence was encrypted, invisible to our machine eyes. They came here in secret, looking for something, and it seems they found it. I see, you mutants. I know your ways. Whatever were you looking for?
Asteroid K.
The problem with machine history is the manner in which it's collected. Yes, they archive every moment of everything. So even if we did have access to their historical records, for example, if we knew something would happen on a particular day, the machine record would still return a search result of billions of actions.
Exactly. Like looking for a grain of sand on an endless beach.
So, what we thought to do was not to break into the archive to get the information we needed, but to break into the place where all that information gets indexed. Sure, we didn't get what we actually need, but if Krakoa can decrypt it, at least we'll finally know exactly where we can find it.
This body once belonged to a mutant who could communicate with anything. I maintain all that he was, though he has long left this existence. We will find a way.
See? This is all that really matters. That we leave behind something that resonates long after our passing. For most there is nothing. Just the pointless march toward oblivion. It's eat, sleep, fight, die, just as it has always been and always shall be, until the sun swallows us all.
You're fantastically depressing, Xorn. The perfect teammate for the end times.
Thank you, friend.
Success! It's unlocked.
You gotta be kidding me. A little mumbly nonsense and the world just opens up. I should have been born with brains.
There, right there. That's the node where they keep the information we're looking for.
You know the problem with this, right? There's not going to be anyone left to use it. We only succeeded in getting this far because Percival made us invisible to the machines, and now we won't have that. We'll have to fight our way in, hold them off while we get the thing, and then fight our way out. It's a suicide mission. You understand that, right?
I've never been more excited for anything in my entire life.
I now know we were never going to stop the machines. The technology, the future, it's unavoidable. The question I have is, why is it always aimed at us mutants? To test us? To see if we are fit to survive? We will go and take what we need, and then we will return. This is a promise whose guarantee is assured, for I will lead you.
Nimbus. Nimbus was once called Nibiru. It began as a frozen gas giant on an elliptical solar orbit that extended beyond the Kuiper Belt. Following the Badoon infestation of the early 31st century, the Outreach Project was created to convert Nibiru into a super intellect in the hopes of attracting and establishing a Sutor alliance with a Type 3 interstellar civilization. Mirroring the Kree intelligent model, 100 of the greatest post-human scientists, scholars, and artists of their generation submitted to the copying and integration of their minds into a single thinking machine called Nimbus. Housed in a Nimrod shell, Nimbus' journey from Earth to Nimbru took approximately 4 years. When it crashed into Nimbru, Nimbus tore through the upper atmosphere and mantle of the ice giant and used the force of the impact to inject its self-replicating machines into the core of the planet. As Nimbus converted the iron and nickel core into an ever-increasing number of memory farms and logic crystals, its intelligent level grew until the goals of the Outreach Project were achieved. Nimbus achieved world mind status 10 years after impact. A more linear path would have seen the intelligence arrive sooner, but it stopped to consume multiple Saturnian and Jovian moons in order to increase its density and intellect, which it calculated would increase the conversion rate of Nimbru. X3, the X-Men, year 1000.
So, Nimrod, did it work?
Normally, civilizations of our maturity only attract universal predators. This is because the perceived value of the system is found in its celestial resources and not its living culture. Our system is a place to be mined and not preserved. Now, after hundreds of years of ugly skirmishes and quiet wars, we decided to convert Nimbus into a replicant world mind and show the universe what we are capable of. And it seems we have snared a giant. So, Librarian, did it work?
I think we're about to find out.
We, Phalanx, ate your world mind. They fought for sovereignty and lost, but we, Phalanx, saw the whispering gods behind it. We, Phalanx, have heard your message. Now, hear ours. What do you seek?
Ascension.
Types of societies. Planetary. Galactic scale of interstellar societies based on measurements of species intelligence. SI. A species intelligence, SI, of 1 is representative of the thinking power of a single mature being possessing average intellectual abilities. While there are wild fluctuations between species at machine state, take for example, the disparity between the intellectual prowess of a base Kree and Skrull. Once the SI reach the intelligence level, most variations even out. SI-1, Machine. A single machine mind that is a direct copy of an existing sentient mind of a species. SI-10, Hive. A collective of individual machines with the unified thinking power of up to 10 machines. While there are hives composed of more than 10 machines, regardless of which species they are based on, ones with more than 10 machines working as a collective began to fracture and deteriorate as the repressed individuality of each machine overwhelms the hive. Note: unlike intelligences, hives are mature individual intellects working together that were not created to naturally reach an SI beyond their machine state. SI, 100 to 10,000. Intelligence. An intelligence is a thinking machine created to be an amalgam of at least 100 machines acting in harmony towards a collective goal. Note: the Supremor, the Kree Supreme Intelligence, is an amalgam of direct copies of the Kree philosophers and thinkers that were merged into a single intellect. While basing an intelligence of pre-existing beings is a common occurrence at this level of society, it becomes less common the further up the galactic scale. Types of societies: Galactic, SI 10,000, Technarch, an artificial collective intelligence manufactured by a Phalanx that was created to classify, order, and assimilate other existing societies. This repurposing of societies is a Technarch's sole purpose. A Technarch exists as a singular node, often taking the shape of a world, but can be any series of planetary objects or formations, called Kavish. Each Kavish is controlled by an alpha intelligence called a Magus. Each Technarch believes it is the only Technarch in existence. Technarch are invisible to other Technarch. SI 100,000 World Mind. A world mind is a celestial object, commonly a planet, that has been wholly converted into a singular intellect. These intellects possess a godlike intelligence and act on a timeline of millennia. On the Cardinal scale, a world mind represents a Type 2 civilization. SI 1 million. Phalanx. A Phalanx is an interstellar society that operates on a galactic scale and represents an intellect that has a total control of a host galaxy. At this level of society, an intellect exists only to expand its own intelligence by consuming lesser societies and to control the energy needs that expansion demands. If a Phalanx encounters a society that is worth consuming by adding to its intelligence needs, then ascension occurs. If a Phalanx encounters a society that is not worth adding to its collective, then it will seed the society with a techno-organic virus. This virus will eventually produce a Babel Spire that will summon a Technarch to remove or repurpose that societal waste from the universe. Note: Technarchs do not know that they were manufactured to serve the Phalanx cause. On the Kardashev scale, a Phalanx represents a Type 3 civilization. Machine, Hive, Intelligence, Technarch, World Mind, Phalanx.
You must see by now, there is no you and I. There is only us. We are together, or we are nothing.
I am immortal, and I have no end.
X2, the X-Men, Year 100. The Temple of Concordance, the Church of Ascendancy.
All humans are slaves. It's only when we embrace our fallen nature and accept their dominance that one can truly understand the message of our masters. Hear their words. You must reject your humanity, every last shred of it. Most of all, you must reject the human heretics who still believe that mankind can improve on our flawed design. These genetic manipulators and free thinkers would have you believe that fate lies in your own hands and not the great machines of change. But they are wrong. Watch and I will show you change! Watch and I will show you true evolution! Yes, my truth is pain. But truth is not the worst of it. No, What follows is the living with it, enduring the dichotomy, knowing there is something perfect trapped in your flawed human shell, reminding you of both what you were and what you will never fully be. This is what real worship has taught us. Better to serve in heaven than rule in human hell.
You would think, with my nihilist bent, I would have some small affinity for human apocrypha. But look at me, on a suicide mission, facing sweet oblivion, and sure of only one thing. I had hoped for more from humanity. A little more pride, a little more grace.
Yet here they are, in all their glory,